Hello, guys. Welcome back to our sunny coastal region of California, here in California, Coniferia, here in City Skylines. Today's episode, I am super stoked. Yeah, it's gonna be really exciting because we are finally expanding the region with a new proper city, and we're gonna place it on this island out here, and it's gonna be super exciting for a number of reasons. First up, it's always interesting to start a new city, right? I mean, the way you place your road network, your basic infrastructure, the way you start the downtown, all of that is gonna shape the further development of the city. It's gonna establish some of that initial identity, and it's just gonna cascade into all these other decisions you end up taking. So that's exciting in and of itself, right? But the second reason I'm really excited, probably why I'm mostly excited about starting a new city, another city here in our region of Coniferia, is that currently we've only had one proper city throughout the series, and it's of course this city of Pine Harbour. And adding an additional city which will at least rival and maybe even surpass Pine Harbour is just gonna add a power dynamic that I think is gonna be a lot of fun for this region and this City Skylines series. If you're new to the channel, you're of course very welcome. I'll give a really short rundown of what we're building here. The basic premise of this series is that we are trying to use like a generic theme inspired by Australia, the US, Canada, and New Zealand. I know that's a bit of a weird mix maybe, but it gives us a lot of creative freedom. We don't have to adhere to one specific theme, which is really cool and which has enabled us to build some really diverse stuff up until now. Another detail of the series is that it is heavily modded, and I use a ton of custom assets. But instead of spending a ton of time detailing up a single little area, then I like to try and use all those mods and assets to do some detailing where I feel we get a lot of bang for the buck. So basically trying to make it look as detailed and realistic as possible, but without trying to, intricately detail every single street corner. It's a balance that I'm always working on improving, but I think we've managed pretty well so far. We actually have some episodes in this series where we get a ton of stuff done within just one episode. So to provide a little tour of Coniferia, if you're new or if you're an established viewer who just would like to get up to speed, as I said, we've got the city of Pine Harbour, which is really the dominant political, cultural, and economical hub of the region, given that it's the only city of its size. It's got a population of just under 9,000 inhabitants, and I should mention that I used the realistic population mod in this series, which means that each and every single family home is actually a single family home. It's one household for each house. So that's something I love to use and something to keep in mind. So that's the dominant urban settlement of the region. Next up, or the next biggest settlement, is this the town of Tagfield. We've been expanding it rapidly in recent episodes, but it can't really be classified as a city yet. We might expand it to a fully fledged city in future episodes, who knows? For now, it's quite a big town with almost 3,500 inhabitants, sorry, but not even 200 jobs. So it also kind of highlights the status of the town and how dependent the town is on Pine Harbour, because by far the majority of its nearly 3,500 inhabitants, they commute to Pine Harbour for work. This is even more so the case with the third largest settlement and the only other settlement that we have in the region, Danton. It's very much just a sleepy suburb of the much bigger Pine Harbour, and as you guys can see, we have 4 jobs. So yeah, there's a bit of burger flipping here maybe, and then people can go and get some gas, and that's basically it. Otherwise, people here usually they either commute. This is the red line which goes into the city of Pine Harbour, or they take their car. And the majority of people, they use their car basically. So it's a car dependent, sleepy suburb. So yeah, that's a little tour of the region. And as I said, one of the main reasons why I'm so excited for this episode and the start of the new city is that we're gonna have at least a rival for Pine Harbour, and maybe even a city that surpasses it. And I think that given the amount of community votes we usually have on this channel, if you're new, you can check our community page and see that we always vote for a lot of stuff here. I think adding an additional city is just gonna add a fantastic power dynamic. So yeah, I can't wait to get started. Getting started with a new city, as I said, it's always tricky. So the first plans we have is that I'm gonna build out a basic road network so that we can get like a general idea of how we wanna develop our downtown. I'm gonna place a proper train station as well. I want to place this up front and not make previous mistakes again, so that you have to retrofit it. It's a bit murky. And then an important thing, I'm gonna place the state capital of this region in this city. So that's already an indication that it's quite prominent and that it's a power factor. So I think without further ado, we should just get going. So, like I said, we'll start with some road networks. And as I mentioned, we're gonna place the state capital here. I've downloaded a couple to use, and I think I'm gonna go with the Florida state capital as a start at least. We can always change it up. But I've got sort of an idea of how we make sure that it's a really prominent part of the city. So I'm gonna delete this road, as you guys see, and make sure we got a completely straight road here that kind of follows this coastline. And then I would like to have sort of an open area basically in front of the state capital. So let's just try this out. Let's see if we can find this bad boy. There we go. And okay, it's a perfect fit. I didn't pre-plan this, but okay, that's a pretty great fit. So that's our very first building in this new city. Quite exciting, and I think my idea is that there's gonna be no development in this strip of land. It's gonna be park space, very walkable, recreational space. So that's kind of the first thing we've already established. Very nice. Now, another thing I like to do is try and establish some main roads that can just kind of anchor the whole city. And I think we should have one running really close to the capital, but not necessarily right in front of it. So if we just kind of do like this as a start, and then maybe we try and flank the capital, like so. So for now, we're just gonna create a boring grid just to start off with, and then we'll take it from there. Now, one thing we need to think carefully about is how we are gonna bring the highway to a stop inside the city. And one question that comes to mind now is, should the highway actually run through the downtown and then kind of terminate at a later spot? That is a possibility. I think for now we are gonna stick with this setup here, where the highway terminates here and transitions into this avenue, because then we should be able to run this avenue kind of through the city here. So I think if we do something like this, then we can create something here that's gonna look all right. All right, let's see. So we're starting to have like the basics covered. One thing I gotta be careful not making the lot sizes too small, because of course, if this is to be a proper city and if we're planning for it to surpass Pine Harbour, then at least it needs to support some high rises, skyscrapers, maybe even. So yeah, I think it's careful. It's important that I'm a little careful in how much I restrict the size of these blocks. Basically, I can quickly end up sort of restricting them too much, and that's not what we want. Certainly not. So we're just gonna continue expanding a bit, and I'm trying to use a bunch of different sets of roads, basically, and I'm hopeful that it's gonna add some diversity to the look and feel of the layout. Um, we'll see. It can quickly turn into just a really gritty look, which I think. It's not bad, but it's definitely not as interesting to say as other looks that are achievable with just a bit more work, basically. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. I'm trying to have like a bit of curvature and stuff like that, and yeah, I say that, but it has turned out rather gritty, hasn't it? We can always change that up, though. That's not gonna be a problem. I think we're gonna keep it for now and just keep expanding a bit. So my idea is that this is gonna be like the main road leading up. This for now it's a hill, but it does transition into what I would classify as a mountain as you get further up. But yeah, I think this is starting to look pretty good. I think this is a good start. This is a good base, at least we can move on from, and decide whether we need even more curves, or whether we need to redo some of it, basically. Now, some of you may be wondering, Infra, where's the train station you spoke of? And I'll be completely honest, I forgot it. I completely forgot the train station. So we are gonna retrofit it, but at least this time around it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Oh boy. Me and train stations, name a more iconic duo. Like so. Then we're gonna grab our train station. And we're gonna go with this one to start off with. And I am open. I am very open to other choices, but for now I think we're gonna go with this big boy. And I know that it looks quite big currently for the city, but I mean there is no city by now, so I think it's gonna be fine, hopefully. And I mean we can adjust it to a more simple station further down the line, but currently I would like to just get a big station placed up front, because I'm hopeful that that means that we are not gonna have to upgrade it later down the line, because it's always gonna be so tricky. So for now we're doing it like this, and what we can do now is we can just lower this so that we actually have the train tracks kind of go above this road. Cool. Basically, we also have to build a train bridge, which is gonna be really scary. We're gonna see what we have. And we would like to make sure that the slope is very, very, very controlled all the way down here, actually. There you go. And then of course we would like to add these up as well. Now, a question I have is, if you've got a train terminal which has 6 lanes, or 6 tracks rather, would you actually have 4 tracks crossing this body of water? I don't know, but I suspect that maybe you would. I'll just try and check how it would look to have 2 bridges right next to each other. Very nice. I think that this looks kind of sweet, actually. It's quite a bridge, but I guess this is it's good to take this one up front because it's gonna help future-proof the city, right? And of course that's really important that we ensure that we have the capacity needed moving forward. Another thing I think we should establish early on is a proper bus hub. So let's see. I would like that to be placed very close to the train station, and I don't know exactly how much space it's gonna need. 3 tiles maybe. Let's see what we've got. I think we've got we've got maybe this one. It needs 4, but I'm guessing we can adjust that. So if we grab these nodes and grab the station, then hopefully we can able to just adjust ever so slightly, like so. Yes, and then we can have like a public space here up front, which would be nice, I think. We'll just make this an intersection with a Okay, that's a tiny node. Maybe we should actually just make this a big intersection with these roads. I don't think we need this one anymore. It's probably placed a little weird actually. So we are gonna do like this. Great. And then we can get time for or space for having a little road run like this, I think. Just add a bit of curvature as well. And we've got this main avenue running alongside the riverfront here. And of course, we haven't yet decided whether it's gonna be a big industrial harbor here, or if there's lots of tourism like in Pine Harbour, or yeah, there's lots of decisions to make here. All right. So guys, we've gotten pretty far, but there's something that bugs me, and I don't know if it bugs you guys as well. It's not the Capitol. It's not the bus hub. It's this bad boy. I mean, it's a nice asset. That's not the problem. I just think it's unless we really get some really large buildings in downtown up front, then it's just really, it really dominates this area. It's just too big and too bulky. So for now, we're gonna remove it. Yes. And then we're gonna see, I think I have something else I think we can use. Which I think will be a nice fit for the city as well. So let's see what we can do. I'm just gonna see if I can make a road that goes like this alongside these tracks, and then we'll see if we can place it and make some sense of this. Okay, so we're definitely only gonna be needing, I think we're only gonna need 2 tracks up front, but if we just place it, it's this modular, pretty modern central station by Bad Peanut. It's a fantastic asset, and as you guys can see, it has some metro lines, I think, as well. We won't be needing those, but let's see if we can just kind of adjust this to look good. So let's just take a look. So it's also big and bulky, but it's just in a different gray white. The colors, the palette is a little lighter, and we can place some buildings here at the end along this way to kind of cover up the tracks as well. So yeah, I think that's pretty nice. One thing we will have to do is completely demolish it and place it again, because we need to, of course, pick the right tracks. So we're going with gravel and wood, and we're taking this starting piece and end piece. And I think we're gonna go with 2 or 4 tracks in total for now. Why is there? I made a mistake here. Yeah, I forgot to switch this one to gravel, wood. There you go. Like so. Super. That's nice. So we can just delete this track altogether, and that's perfect, because it was actually, that was the track that kind of sprang out from these. And we'll just make a little alignment here. Great. There you go. And we should be able to relatively easy connect these up. Let's see. Not quite perfect, but not far off. So if we just move this ever so slightly to adjust. Yeah, we just want to make sure the nodes are perfect. And of course, we will still use this to cover up this non-functioning bridge. Cool, so this is actually our central station for the new town. And it's not too bad, I think. Not too bad. And I think what we're gonna attempt to do, and I have no idea whether it's feasible or not, but we're gonna try and see. Let's disable some snapping here and see if this is even gonna be possible. Try a road really close here that just kind of follows the edge. Cool. We are gonna go with this for now. That's my conclusion. I think it's better than before. The footprint of this station is just as big as the other one. It might even be bigger. It just feels a little less daunting to look at especially when we look from afar. I just kept looking at that big station and thinking that it's really gonna completely dominate the downtown unless we get some really tall, really large footprint buildings, and I don't think I'd like that. So yeah, this is much nicer, I think. So with much of the downtown core being mapped out pretty well, I think, to my liking so far at least, we're gonna make some major roads spread out a bit more across this island, just to sort of gain like an idea of where some of the main thoroughfares are gonna be. And of course, these aren't final. We can always pivot and choose to do something else entirely. But I just would like to just sort of establish some roads. I think that's gonna help us with a bit of an overview, basically. Just an overview of where we'd like to expand the city in future episodes, where we'd like to take it, basically. One thing I'm just gonna do now is we need to prettify all this, of course. So what we're doing is we're just making some slight adjustments to make sure that our changes look good. So we are adjusting some slopes and some curves with the network multi-tool, one of my absolute most favorite mods. And of course, we're gonna expand this highway network as well, so that we get some off and on ramps over here, perhaps. But for now, this is gonna be a fitting city entrance. I think it's gonna serve the purpose that we need for now. So that's perfect. And yeah, like I said, I feel most of the road network here in downtown is actually looking quite okay. So I don't think we're gonna make too many iterations to that right now. But yeah, let's draw out some roads and some avenues, maybe even. So I was thinking that we're gonna have a bit of development this way as well. So we might as well start to draw out this avenue, and we will then know that it will be a main arterial where we'll be seeing lots of development along it. Hopefully, at least. Lots of promises here. And we're just drawing it through the landscape like this. Just a basic rough outline. Nothing fancy now, for now at least. And then I was actually thinking that at this grand intersection, we could also have an avenue going north. Now let's see if we can make this look all right. Go something like that, and then we'll just cut north through these forests, and it's gonna be the main arterial that kind of cuts through the central part of the islands. Quite imposing mountains. So we'll just connect these up. All right, it's starting to look like a good foundation, I think, for a city here. And yeah, I accidentally hit play while I took a short break. So we've got cars parked in the new city, and I think it's because this is actually this is a tourist attraction. So yeah, a couple of visitors a week. But I think that's fine. Now, something I'd like to do before we wrap up this episode is just to continue expanding the road network a bit. There are some oddities I wanna fix up, probably remove even, such as this roundabout, which I think it's a little awkwardly placed in relation to the city now. And then I'm having some thoughts on also expanding the road network just a bit more. It seems that now we sort of have a pretty good outline for the downtown core. I think it's important that we don't just make the city huge in size right away. So I think this is a good outline for a core. And then something I hope to do a little different with this city compared to Pine Harbour is the transition in densities. So I guess we should look at Pine Harbour as an example. So basically, the downtown of Pine Harbour, which is where we're at right now, is relatively dense. I'd say medium density, almost across the board. There are some areas where the density is, there are like pockets where the density is obviously pretty high. But then we also have these small pockets which I've kept on purpose, where the density is really low. Also, if we move over here, we have these two blocks which are actually, I mean, they're pretty central. They're not right in the heart of downtown, but they are part of downtown, and they're like a bit of an odd mix. So you have some really old original single-family housing units, and then some much more modern developments. And of course, there used to be single-family housing units here, and then the properties were sold to developers, and here we go, fancy building of glass and steel. And I think that's fine, and that's a bit of character to the downtown. But the transition from downtown and the medium density to low density is kind of sudden in Pine Harbour. It's not like a completely sudden transition, because we do have like an area here where we have like, these are apartments actually, and this building as well, and these are like row homes. So basically there is a bit of a transition, but it's still quite sudden, I feel. And so what I would like to explore for the new city is to have an area, a bit of a smoother transition, basically in densities, so that we don't transition maybe from downtown and then to suburbs, or not suburbs, but really low density single family housing in an instant, but instead that we have some areas that are really close to downtown that have much more of a mixed density. So some really narrow row houses, a few smaller apartment blocks, some duplexes, something like that, and then see if we can sort of make a more subtle transition to the single family housing. But that's of course something we're gonna experiment with when we actually start really building and expanding the city. Like I said, for now we're just gonna keep expanding the road network a bit, so that we have an even better foundation for the next couple of episodes of work here. So yeah, let's get started with that. I think I'm gonna downgrade some of these really wide avenues for now. I think they look just a little out of place. In general, really, but yeah, we're gonna downgrade these. We can always upgrade them. That isn't an issue later on. But for now, I think we're gonna keep them like this. And this looks a little bulky as well, so preferably we make this upgrade as well. Cool. The reason I'm using node controller to select each node is that I've got an option selected so that the nodes will slope whenever I select them, and it just creates much better nodes when you have a bit of a slope in your city. It's a setting in your node controller options. Cool. I think this provides a pretty good sort of basis for the. Let me just get myself oriented. The western part of this midtown or uptown area, whatever we're gonna call it. It's really close to downtown. So let's just see if we can expand with something a little similar out here in the eastern part. Whoa. This is a pathway to hell. Yeah, we're gonna delete that. We're just gonna use the soften terrain to just soften it up ever so slightly. Currently it's really a little too bumpy around these areas, so we're just gonna soften it up just a bit to roughen out even out the most rough areas. We're not roughing out. Can you rough something out? I'm not sure. Very cool. This is starting to look like just a place we would want to start a city and get going with the with some development. Yeah, I mean, we'll just fill in some trees again because I hate when this stuff is. Can I add some? There you go. Collision. I hate when it looks so naked without any trees. I'd rather just add a bit stuff here. Nice. All right, I think that wraps up this first episode, and I feel we got a ton of stuff done. Now I know we didn't actually place any residential or commercial or industry, but just getting the overall layout in place, getting that railway connection, getting a pretty sizable main station, central station here to handle a lot of rail traffic, getting a bus up place down at least, and kind of getting some of the some of the design that we'd want to persist throughout this city done is actually quite a good big leap forward, I feel. So I'm pretty happy about it, and of course I'm just super excited about, as we get more work done here. I'm really excited about how this city is gonna flesh out, and like I said, how it's gonna affect the dynamics in this region, because obviously this new city is at least the political center of the region, because the state capital is placed there. So it's gonna be super interesting moving forward. I can't wait. Like I said, if you got a suggestion for a name of this new city, something you feel really fits in with the region, then please feel free to comment. I'll make sure to reach each and every single comment, I promise. And if you got a backstory or some details that you feel are fitting for the city and the placement of the city, then of course feel free to comment that as well. Or if you have something else entirely to comment, what would you like to see in this city, or what would you like to see in the region as a whole? Anything on the top of your mind, feel free to comment. It really helps the channel, actually. It doesn't just foster a good community vibe and engagement, it also really helps the channel, because the YouTube algorithm likes comments. But of course, preferably with some content in them. Of course, if you enjoy my content and you haven't already subscribed, then I'd be honored to receive your subscription and enable the notifications. And you can give this episode a thumbs up if you enjoy it. If you cannot get enough of my content, then I've got a Patreon as well, where for as little as $1 a month you get access to, I think we're around 500 or 600 pictures now, I'm not quite sure, but anyways, it's a pretty simple Patreon. I upload every single photo I take in game, and I take a lot of photos in game, and once in a while I upload a little sneak peek as well of future episodes. Just once in a while. So yeah, starting at $1. Feel free, of course. Other than that, thank you so much for sticking with me until the end. That sounds kind of dramatic, but yeah, if you watched this entire episode, I am really thankful, and I'm happy you enjoy my comment, and I'm so happy to have been given such a warm welcome back to YouTube. All the engagement, all the comments, all the discussion, all the votes, I'm just super happy about it. Sorry I keep saying this every few episodes, but I really mean it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye!